Congratulations, you've made it to week 5 of Geology and Our Environment. Good job. Take a deep breath. Let's look at what we have done so far in the course and then what we're going to do this last week. We've looked at the energy, water, and mineral resources, and we've looked at their benefits and consequences. We have looked at geologic risks in our region and related them to the Earth's geological processes when we talked about tectonics, mass wasting, soil, all of that. We looked at the impacts that our activities have on our environment, and we linked them to the environments and processes they affect. We're going to do more of that this week, unfortunately. And we're going to communicate about geological issues affecting the environment. You're doing this well in your discussion boards and with your fact sheets and now in your final project. So this week is really when we look at science and we use it to make policy. There is a huge area of employment in the in-between. So doing the science, understanding the science, communicating the science, and then making policy that works for people in your area and globally. In your reading of chapter 10, you will see that we are definitely changing our climate. We are burning fossil fuels and introducing gases to our atmosphere that trap or that temporarily capture and release infrared radiation, so that results in the warming of our atmosphere. We have done this, we continue to do this, and there are impacts from this. One of the biggest impacts that we are dealing with right now is sea level rise. So as we warm our atmosphere and our oceans, we cause sea level to rise. If you heat water, it expands, and as it expands, sea level rises. Also, as you heat the atmosphere, you melt glaciers. If those glaciers are on land, as we learned earlier, water travels down, that water is going to go into the ocean, and that also raises sea level. We have been doing this for a while now, and we are continuing to do this. As a result, our coastal communities are being flooded more than they were in the previous decades and centuries. Now, just a little side note, yes, sea levels have been higher and lower in the past than they are today. Carbon dioxide levels have been higher and lower in the past than they are today. Temperatures have been higher and lower. Earth has had a very long history. However, currently, we are occupying the Earth along with many other organisms, and our actions are causing the climate to warm, causing sea levels to rise, and that's impacting us and other organisms around us. And so we are at the point now where we're trying to deal with this change, and your discussion board really gets into that. It looks at it in 2 different communities. So it looks at it at a community in the United States and a community in Bangladesh. And it looks at what each of these is doing and how they can meet the needs of their society. And then ultimately, who finances that? So you guys are going to do that. Now that you have done all of this learning, you can bring all of the science to it. And now it's the time to begin to consider how we deal with that in terms of policy and how we deal with that as a local community, as a larger national community, and then as a global community. Okay, so these are the broader impacts of our actions and also of our learning. This is important stuff. So what you are doing this week, you turn in your final project, yay, and you write your discussion board. We just talked about your discussion board. That's the broader impacts there, the implication of a rising sea level. So let's talk about your final project. You've got all of your fact sheets done now. They are done. They're returned to you with comments. You can use them. You can plug them in. Your discussion boards, you've got your geologic dangers, your environmental problems, and you've got all 3 of your field log issue papers. Yay. These are going right into your field log template. Okay. So first thing this week, enter all of that work into your field log template if you haven't already done it. Then you go ahead and write up your additional relevant information. So What's the population of your area like? How many people are there? Are you in an urban, suburban, rural setting? What other things are in your area geologically that we didn't already describe? What do you have karst? Do you have subsidence issues? What else might you have there? And then in relation to energy, do you have hydraulic fracturing going on in your area? Do you have an oil pipe or a pipeline through your area? What else do you have that's relevant to understanding your area? Now that you have all of that, you can do your reflection section. Okay, so how do the issues that you wrote about relate to your area? Is there a common theme among all of them or not? If not, how does each one relate to some specific aspect of your area? So this shows me that you have learned the material in the course and you can apply it to the issues that you see in your issue papers. Then finally, your comparison section. So you've been communicating with your peers throughout this course. You've been giving them information about your area and learning about their areas. And this is your chance to now compare their area. So you're just going to briefly write, not in as long as you wrote about yours, but briefly write about their area, about issues you might expect in your area. And that shows me that you can then apply what you've learned in your area to other areas. So then you submit that and then you can just take a deep breath. I hope that you've enjoyed this course. I hope that you have learned a lot in this course. And I hope at the very least this has given you a few things to think about as you move forward in your career and just in your life. So again, happy observing and enjoy the world around you. Bye-bye.